Hi, my name is Delmarshae Walker, and welcome to my channel. What I want to talk about today is being like Jesus. Jesus was not poor and he was not weak, and I think sometimes he gets represented in that light. The only reason that he was born in a manger or born in a stable with animals was because during that time there was a census going on, and every man had to go back to his hometown, taking his wife and his kids with him in order to be counted for the census. So Joseph had to leave to go back to his hometown with Mary. And so by the time they reached that location, everything was crowded because everybody was doing the same thing, coming back to be counted for the census. So there was no rooms at relatives' house. There was no room available at the inn. So the only shelter they had at that time was the stables. Mary was getting ready to have Jesus, so that's why he was born in a stable. It had nothing to do with not being able to afford a place or Joseph not having a place. He left his home to go back to his hometown to be counted for the census. And then on top of that, the three wise men also brought him gifts, which were valuable gifts. So he came into this world receiving gifts. So he wasn't poor. And then also you have to think about who Jesus was, the Son of God. Being the Son of God, why would God make his son poor and send him down as a representation of himself? Jesus did not value money the same way we value money or looked at money the same way we look at money because of his power. The first time you ever see Jesus use his power is when he turned water into wine. He didn't need any money. So being poor and having the ability to turn water into wine, it doesn't go together, because you would never be poor if you had that type of power that you can just take water and turn it into wine. Because if you want to make that a hustle, you can just go get water, turn it into wine and sell it, and you would have money. But because we're talking about Jesus, he just did miracles based on the situation he was in. You see him going around healing the blind. He was able to make lame people walk. You see him healing. There was 9 leopards and he healed them. And so having that power I feel is more valuable than money. Even Satan knew how powerful he was when he said to him, you can turn this stone into bread. So he would never have to worry about how he's going to eat or what he's going to drink. Even if he wanted water, he could touch a rock and make water come out of it. So, he was just powerful. Even one time in the Bible, they speak about when it was time to pay taxes. And Jesus was talking to Peter, and he told Peter to go fish. And once he caught the fish, reach into the fish mouth, and there would be enough, money in there to pay his taxes. That's power. That's not poor. That's power. And then there's even sometimes in the Bible where you will hear that Jesus heard a person thinking about something, and he answered them based on their thought. So just imagine you're Jesus. You have the ability to walk on water. You have the ability to raise people from the dead. You have the ability to talk to a storm and tell the storm to peace be still, and the storm, the wind and the waves will just quiet down. And you have the ability to know other people's thoughts and how people truly feel about you. He even knew who was going to betray him out of the 12 disciples. So just imagine you had that type of power. You will also have to be controlled. You will also have to be disciplined. So he was never weak. He was just disciplined. He was so disciplined that he did not allow knowing people's true thoughts about him, knowing people's true feelings about him, to take away from the focus of why he was there, why he was on the earth. And in spite of knowing all this about people and knowing how they truly felt about him, who really loved him, who really liked him, and who really hated him, he still loved those people. Just imagine if you had that power to know all this, the power to walk on water, the power to just speak a word and then life will come. You can bring someone back to life. Or, how would you use that power? Would you use it for good or would you use it for bad? Would you use it to take over? How would you use that power? So for a person to have that power and be reserved and not use it for evil and still walk around loving people in spite of the sins he knew they committed, in spite of the way they felt about him. So if we're to be like Jesus, we're to be, we have that power because he left that power with us. So we have that power to do everything that he did. But we also have to be in control of that power. We also are supposed to, love people in spite of who they are or in spite of who we think they are, because we really don't know. We only have a perception of who a person is, but we truly don't know their heart. Only God knows their heart. So in spite of our perception of a person, we're still supposed to love them and treat them with respect. And there's only one time in the Bible that you really see Jesus get mad, and that's when he goes in the church and he sees the money changers and he flips over tables and everything like that. So it wasn't that he could never get angry. He was just slow to get angry. And having control over himself in that way, Jesus fasted, Jesus meditated, and that helped him because he was still human. And, in spite of being a child of God and the way he came into this world, he was still human. So he still had human emotions. And I think that's why they did put that in the Bible, to let you know that, hey, even Jesus got mad about something. But other than that, he was more reserved. He was more compassionate. He went around helping people. He went around healing people. And, he wanted the best out of people. And so that's basically what being like Jesus is having self-control, not being easy to anger or reacting on your anger, or, in spite of knowing how someone feel about you. It's not always about, oh, I'm going to get that person back. Oh, they did this to me. Okay, I'm going to seek revenge on that person. It's not about that. Sometimes you just have to let things go because you can't control another person. You can only control yourself. And that's basically what he did, controlled himself in spite of being able to know how a person truly felt and to know what a person truly has done. He knew their secrets. And in spite of knowing all that, he controlled himself to not react based on who they were, but based on who he represented, which was God, and based on what he wanted to portray, and that is love. And so as Christians, we need to focus more on that. He was not weak, because it's easy to get mad at a person. It's easy to seek revenge, but it's hard to hold in your emotions. It's hard to know that someone did you wrong and you're not going to do anything about it. You're just going to let it go. That is hard. That is being strong, to have that self-control. So he was a teacher. He was a leader, and he was a strong leader, and he represented himself with being compassionate and being spiritually disciplined, and not just living his life based on emotion. Because even when you see him in the Garden of Gethsemane, knowing that he's getting ready to go through his last days, and he asked his father to take that cup away from him, And then he said, not my will, but your will be done. He did not want to go through that. But he was willing to be the sacrifice that God wanted him to be in order to save us. So that takes a lot to die, to be falsely accused and to die for something that you did not do. And for people who, some people loved you and some people hated you, but you're dying for everyone in spite of how they feel. That takes a great love, a great person, great discipline, great self-control, and a powerful leader. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.